Hello, Booktopians, and welcome to another interview with an author. Today we're chatting with comedian, writer, presenter, and author of the new book, Help Self, Tanya Hennessy. Hi, Tanya.
Hi.
Booktopia.
Oh my God. Hi. I love you guys. I've been buying too many of your books at multiple times during the day, some of which is late at night, very merry. I went to drag show the other night, came home and bought like 10 copies of my own book. It was so weird. I was like, what sort of weird narcissism is this?
So that's why your book is trending on our website right now.
It's me. It's me. You get like 10 author copies of your own book, but like, you know, my mom, my dad, my nan, my brother, my sister, then like all my friends, people contributed to it, makeup artists, da da da. Then you got none. So I was like, I better go buy a bunch because like it's weird if I don't have them.
Yep. Oh, that's very good advice for any aspiring author out there.
But also, you kind of get really addicted to that website, and then you end up buying like random books, and then you go, oh, I'll see what's on sale. Oh, I'll buy a cookbook. I'll get a kid's book.
Excellent.
You guys are good. You're good.
This is excellent marketing for us right now.
You're welcome.
So what has 2020 been like for you?
Well, to be honest, and you guys are like book people, so I feel like I can be honest. I've been writing. I wrote in between finishing off Help Self and the promotion of Self-Help. I wrote a whole other book. It's a kid's book, and actually getting the edits for it today.
Awesome.
And I'm so nervous. It's not a picture book. It's junior fiction, so it's about 10,000, 15,000 words with like a really fierce female linchpin character who doesn't want a boy, which I felt because I read a lot of, you know, children's literature, which was fucking weird. Am I allowed to swear on this? Too late.
Right.
I read like a lot of like Babysitter's Club, David Walliams. I read a lot of like Morris Gleitzman this year. I read a lot of Paul Jennings. Actually, I did a lot of reading this year, a lot of kids' books, and the language is so simple. And then I was like, oh, I wish I could write all my books like this. And it's sort of like a Hating Alison Ashley meets Babysitter's Club. It's like a domestic, suburban bunch of kids who put on a show at an old people's home.
Oh, awesome. Oh, we can't wait. Oh, well, will you come back and talk to us about that when it gets published?
Yes. Yeah. It's so close. Like, I wrote it really quick. I probably shouldn't even talk about that book, but I wrote it really, really quickly. I wrote it in like 3 weeks because it just came out of me. I was like, oh, maybe I'm like one of those, like, you know, those songwriters who are like, I just came to me. I'm like, oh my God, that's me.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about Help Self?
So Help Self is like the antidote to like a traditional self-help book in that it honors the fact that you'll probably stuff up and you'll probably go back to your old ways and that life has ebb and flow and that's fine. So it's sort of like is an honest, real, relatable self-help book. I can't remember the name of this book. Actually, you know what's funny? I actually like named it a whole bunch of other things and my publisher said I couldn't have that. So then what she gave me was permission to put a bunch of titles that she vetoed. So I wanted to call it Self-Help But Sexy.
Mm-hmm.
The Self-Help Handbook for the Lazy, A Compass to a Sexy Future, Textbook Life Advice, Sexy Edition. She was not keen on any of those, but but the reason that we went with this is because you really have to, and I guess the antithesis of this book, the point of this book is that you have to help yourself. No one's going to do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a hard truth, but it's also like a great truth. Once you know that you are responsible for yourself, it's actually like really liberating and really exciting. And that's really what helped me to, I guess, sort of break through the demons and the voices that tell me I'm not good enough inside my head, the inner saboteur, if you will. Thank you, RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yeah. I think we all deal with that. So you've got so that's a really good philosophy that kind of underpins this book, and you cover a variety of topics from mind, body, spirit to food and mental health. How did you decide which areas you were going to focus on?
Well, you know, I looked through a bunch of self-help books, and I looked through a bunch of, like, I quite liked influencer books. I hate that word, but like a bunch of, because it's kind of a parody of an influencer book at the same time as a self-help book. It's not like an alchemist style book, you know. It's more like a, oh gosh, I don't want to say anyone's name, but it's the thing that defined it for me was where I had and felt like I could give some significant advice and where I could make jokes. So that's where I sort of took the liberty to write. So I was like, where do I have experience and where do I find humor and where do I have jokes? That was like the ideas and the pinpoints for that. That's why there's so much on beauty, because I love beauty and I think it's a fun world to parody.
I also particularly liked your chapter on fitness, which is just 5 pages of photos of you in yoga pants.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, because that is meant to be a joke based on my first book, where I did it's an A to Z of you know, life lessons, and then for E for exercise I had 5 blank pages, so it's meant to be like a callback to that.
Yeah.
It was meant to be like, you know, that's like it was, I was like, I need 5 pages because that's how many pages were in this book.
Yeah.
I was trying to be like, anyway, if you, one of my favorite drag queens, her name's like Alaska. She has this thing for like a callback and like puts Easter eggs in things, and I kind of got inspired by her, so I was like, I'm going to do this.
That's great. So the next time you write an adult book, so you've gone from like 5 blank pages to 5 pages of you in the exercise gear. So the next one will be 5 pages of like
nudity. just really explicit nudes.
Yeah. Well, then your publisher will have to let you put sexy in the title then, right?
She'd want to. I don't know if it's sexy so much as very niche, but still.
So I wanted to ask you a few questions about some specific parts of the book. I wanted to start off talking about food. Why does cooking not spark joy?
You know, my boyfriend's a chef, so it sparks a lot of joy for him. And cooking is really relaxing for a lot of people. People love it. For me, it sparks like significant anxiety, and like, I just can't cook. I just cannot cook. I don't know why. I can't even like cook 2-minute noodles. Like they turn, like my boyfriend's like, how is someone so untalented at this? And I was like, you know what? Can't cook, got other skills. But I did write a bunch of recipes in here for people who can't cook. And what is good? 3 recipes to Rocky Road. Like there's 3 recipes for Rocky Road.
Yeah.
That's about it. It's the most ridiculous like cooking segment you'll ever read in a book. But like, I kind of thought like that insanity of being able to cook nothing but 3 Rocky Roads, an old El Paso taco bowl, and a smoothie was funny. Like just the obscure stupidness of it. I loved it because it was so anti-self-help, you know what I mean? It was so, you know, it's sort of like whatever fuels you. If you're alive, great.
Yeah, you've got like a main, 3 desserts, and a drink. Like that's a meal.
Yeah, I mean, like, but life is hard, you know, life is tough, and I wanted to create something where people will be like, oh my God, I feel less alone. This is so insanely silly and funny. It also has a bit of heart to it, but yeah, that was sort of like I don't know, I thought it was funny.
Could you also tell us a little bit about, you've included some tips for things that are important to remember if you absolutely have to cook?
Oh yeah, so I put a bunch of things like knives are sharp, turn off the oven. I've learned that the hard way. Gosh, what else is in there? Oh my God. I'm gonna have to look at my own book. What is in here? Great question. And you know what's so strange? Like, so you write this so long ago that you're like, what is in there? Oh, here's a fun fact. There's just a page of just Arnott's assorted in there. What can't you get in this book? You know what I mean? I'm trying to remember. Bloody hell! What?
Hey, I'm sorry, I'll put you on the spot there. Hang on, I've got my copy on my computer here as well. 3 recipes for Rocky Road, and picture of the Arnott's assorted.
Yeah. So I had always have pasta in the cupboard. Uber Eats exists.
Yep.
have to cook, just remember Uber Eats exists, or there's always a random Chinese restaurant. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, I think there's space in the market for a cookbook, which is, I don't know, I guess it would be like the deceptive host's guide to fine dining, where you would like, it would be instructions to how to like order a nice banquet from your local Chinese restaurant, and then, you know, how to make it appear as if you've cooked it in your home. Like, come in, have like the saucepans on the stove boiling, have the oven on, like, you know, just be looking a bit sweaty, and you're just pulling it out, but really like it came an hour ago from Uber Eats and you've just been warming it up.
Okay, that is genius. If you've not trademarked that, consider that coming to Booktopia 2021.
Yeah, copyright me. Nobody who's listening to this steal that. Okay, it's the only good idea I've ever had. And one more question I wanted to ask about your food section. How do you get people to leave your house at the end of a party?
Oh yeah, so I have this theory that like the hardest thing about having a party in your own house, and I've come across this so many times because I hate leaving the house. I'm always like, come here, and Tom's a chef, so it's really convenient. And people want to come because he's a chef, and also everyone's povo, and no one wants to pay any money. And so then you have this weird thing where you're like, well, I really want to go to bed, but you're sort of here, everyone's still enjoying themselves. Here's what you do. You put pajamas on because people feel uncomfortable. Just have a shower. People don't like that. Another thing is just grab their keys and comment on a key ring. Be like, God, this is cool. And then just sort of hand it back to them and make really deliberate eye contact. Holding their keys and giving it to them. They'll get the hint. If they don't, they're a sociopath and you shouldn't be hanging out with them in the first place.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a hint or more of a just direct get out of my house.
Yeah, but I feel like you have to do it with some charm.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're like, oh my God, this key ring's so great. Yeah, you're right. It comes off crazy. I've not thought about that one. Although I've done it a lot, which makes me probably a terrible person to have around.
I mean, if people still keep coming back, then, you know, obviously
it's the food, Matt. It's the food. It's not me, believe me.
All right, moving on to fashion. You have a list of online shopping tips, which is very relevant for 2020 and very relevant for a chat with an online bookstore. What do you think, though, would be like the one online shopping tip that you would say is the number one thing that people should remember?
Don't drink and buy. Although in my case, that I don't. Oh, and here's the other thing with this book, right? I sort of gave myself permission to like go back on myself or contradict myself. You know, no self-help is, or any sort of literature, I believe, in this sort of space. Obviously fiction's different, but you're always going to change and evolve. You're always going to like rethink and double think and go back and go forward and, you know, change your mind on things. And I gave myself so much permission to do that in this book, but I also like would like to think that I gave a lot of other people permission to like, you're allowed to change your mind, you're allowed to go back and forward, you're allowed to contradict yourself. But I also think with online shopping, as per said question, the number one thing is to make sure your PayPal's connected so it's really fast and you can just do it quickly, and then it just arrives and it's very exciting.
Yeah. I had a shirt arrive this year that's got like a castle and a moon and like bats on it. It's like a button-up, like nice shirt, which you know, it wasn't a good night to go online shopping, and I did it anyway. And you get a surprise in the mail.
Fun, like it's fun. My friend bought a bunch of like 3 pairs of rollerblades when she was really drunk. I'm like, what are you gonna do with any of those? What are you gonna do? And she's like, I don't know, but like I've got them now, so like, you know, now she's like rollerblading on a weekend, which I think is even funnier. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, she's actually using them. She didn't return them. Like, you're a weirdo. And why do you need 3 pairs? Anyway.
You've also got a list of accessories and clothes that people shouldn't buy and people shouldn't have. Were there any things that that came close to making that list but didn't?
You see, a muumuu is always like a cat, you know, shouldn't. You know, you should because it's shapeless.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't because sometimes you look like you're a cult leader. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Should because it's really easy to throw on. You shouldn't because you look like a Homer Simpson meme. Like that one sort of like teeters on the, you know what I mean? But like a moo is a great place when you're going to a buffet, but it's also a great place to where, you know, if you're going to make a bunch of people drink cyanide. Like, I don't know. It's just, it's a confusing piece of fashion. And I'm wearing one today, which is even funnier. I just love anything that doesn't touch me clothing wise. Great. The other thing that I was like, oh, I shouldn't like, and it is in there is Crocs. I just do not understand them, but there's a bunch of like Generation Z, like the generation below millennials that friggin' like everything I've written on the should not list is what they wear. Like they love Crocs, they love corduroy, they love like high-waisted jeans with sneakers, like really Seinfeld vibes. So, you know, fashion is not to be taken from me ever. So, you know, take that one with a grain of salt.
So what I'm taking from this is if somebody is invited to a dinner party at your house and you do the key thing and they don't kind of get that, and then you come out wearing the moo offering them a drink, they shouldn't accept.
Ooh, that's very good.
Yeah.
Good putting together.
I also wanted to talk about, you've got a section on career. What are some of your career tips?
I have this like ultimate tip that I stole. I didn't steal it. Well, I guess I did. I've got a bunch in there, and you know what? I've kind of kept a lot of my career stuff really private because I've not wanted people to kind of like see the sausage being made. But I was like, nah, people will learn a lot. This is the bit of the book where it's actually sincere and I believe quite decent. In fact, I would love to write a whole book based off that section alone because I had so much material, and I don't know. I'm one of those people who, if they see something, they'll do it and make it happen. And I don't believe I'm special. I just believe I'm tenacious. And that's what that section of the book is about. But who was his name? Arnold Schwarzenegger. He has this quote, and the quote is, you either have results or excuses. You don't have both, so choose, and choose wisely. And I saw it at a F45 gym, and I was like, I'm not going into that gym, but what a great quote. And I took it and really applied it to my life, and it's actually been a really great sort of lens for when I create. So you go, God, you know, I'm an anxious person. A lot of people in the creative arts are. A lot of people are, just in general. And you go, God, I really want to do that TV thing. I really want to do it, but I'm so nervous. And I'm like, Tanya, you either have results or excuses. You know what I mean? And it kind of pushes you past your anxiety to do what you want to do. So I felt like I've lived my life by this ethos. Not quite like I use it as a personal ethos, so I can like propel past my own anxieties to do what I actually am meant to do. So I feel like that's been a really like, yeah. And there's a bit, I don't know if you read it, but the hardcore truth bit in there, whew, that one's tough. But I think it's like, hopefully people will take away from that I'm not trying to hurt them, I'm trying to help them.
What I also like, because you've got your advice for creatives, but then you've also got a little bit of advice for people who are working with creatives. Could you tell us a little bit about how people should handle working with creative people?
Oh yeah, I could write about this all day as well. I think a lot of people don't understand, a lot of business people, you know, the word content is actually a business word. The word actually should be art, but business people use the word content because it's more palpable, or they can tick it off on a KPI, or it means money, or it means, you know what I mean? Like it's a word that they can sort of constitute easier to put budget towards. And with that sort of mindset, when you work with somebody creatively, you can't take a business approach to them. So it's sort of like, money isn't thanks. Not paying somebody isn't thanks. Expecting a creative to work for free isn't thanks. Exposure is not an appropriate word or an appropriate thing to use for somebody who's creative. I think there's a lot of rhetoric around, you know, rhetoric. People go, oh, you know, I'll go see the doctor. You would never expect to see a doctor for free, but they expect a stilt walker to stilt at their event for free, or a writer to write something for free, or a dancer to dance for free. And so I guess I was trying to be like, hey, if you work with creatives, be really mindful about the language you use. And also, I think, just understand that we are propelled by more than money.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
great.
What I mean?
Yeah.
People go, oh, we paid you. And you're like, yeah, but like, I'm an artist. I'm putting my soul on the stage. So like, the money is great. But like, if you could like maybe say, hey, I thought this was good, or maybe some feedback on my work, you know, you kind of can't just turn your back on it and let it go. And and expect us creatives just to continue to flourish. We're like in our heads and we wear our soul in our work. And, you know, I think a lot of people don't understand the process of being creative and don't understand how to communicate with us and how to work with us effectively. And I think if they did, they'd get better results.
I like that because my title, I'm content manager at Booktopia, and I had my one-on-one with my boss this afternoon. So when he's like, "Why haven't these tasks been done?" I'm like, "I'm an artist.
I'm creative."
Yeah, don't rush the process.
But the thing is, right, that's the weird things, you know, like sometimes you have like a brand, right, and they'll go, "Hey, can you get those like 5 ideas to us this afternoon?" And you're like, "Well, I don't work like that. Like, I don't just like, you know, I need time, or I need to go experience something, or like, I'm not a machine," because creativity is not like a business. It's not the same transaction. We are not transactional. That is not the way it works. So it's sort of like, anyway, I wish more people would understand that. I do understand we have to work in a world of money and a world of business, but we're different. I always find publishers get it though. If you say to a publisher, "Oh, fuck, I can't because I'm just not in my head about it today," they're like, "Great."
Yeah. Yeah.
Like publishers understand the creative journey and the creative space. And if you, sometimes you're in a bad mood, or you've had too much coffee, or you had a fight with someone, you're not going to write some comedy.
Yeah. I also wanted to ask you one more thing about your career chapter, which is you have a little bit about decoding boss speak and how to understand your manager. Could you tell us a little about that as well, and where that comes from?
So I've always worked in a commercial world, despite being a creative person, because you have to survive. So I always found it really funny working in like commercial radio and stuff. And you'd always get emails that are like, "Please see below," or, you know, things that are like, "As per my last email." And so I was like, I'm just going to say what they really mean, because I have this humor that's just based in reality. And I was like, this is what they actually mean. They're actually saying, as when it says, "Please see per below," or whatever, they're actually saying, "You didn't read the first email, you fucking idiot. You're incompetent. Read this email." Or when it, you know what I mean? Those types of things. And I just wanted to be like really honest about what they're trying to communicate. And you know what they're trying to communicate. And I think like when you know that, it's just kind of funny. And it's just a funny like sphere to play in.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. What do you hope readers will take from Help Self?
I hope that they take away, like, okay, I think that like this book is not going to change the world, but it might change your outlook. I think different people will take different things away from this. And I kind of like that. Like everyone who's read it so far is like, "Oh, I really like this bit. I really like this bit." No one said they like the food bit, probably because there's no real reason for it to be there other than humor purposes.
Okay, I liked the food bit. I can now make 3 different types of Rocky Road.
Yeah, okay. One is like good for Christmas Day. The one with the toothpicks in it.
Yeah.
Like, that's like kind of genius. She says of her own work, you know, moo moo. Yeah, I think people will take away going, I feel less alone. I feel more normal, and I feel like I'm okay. And that's kind of what I wanted. You know, growing up, I never felt like there was some weird eccentric woman on the TV wearing a moo and I always longed to see somebody who sort of behaved and spoke and was honest like me, because I felt so wrong. I didn't feel normal until I was like 30, and I'm only 35. Well, I'm 34, but you know what I mean? Like, so this book is just meant to be like, hey, like, you're okay, you're doing it fine, and like, yeah, you'll fuck up, whatever, like, that's fine too. That's a human conditioned thing. Like, as long as you can find hope and reason, you'll be fine. And this book offers like some lols, but also some like life affirming things. So yeah.
Great. And so what are you working on next?
Well, this kids book I'm kind of obsessed with. So I've got edits of that. And then it's actually so weird. I never sort of thought of myself as like an author. Like I always thought I was like, and kind of sat into that, like, oh, you have an audience. you can write. So like, it kind of works. And I love to write. It's my favorite thing. You know, I did, I'm a Celebrity this year. I was like, okay, don't want to do reality TV again. I've done a lot of video content. I'm a bit fatigued by that, if I'm honest. did a bit of stand-up, don't mind it. But the place that I feel like my most joy and the most connected to anything, the best storytelling that I enjoy is writing. And I feel like I can connect to people so differently through writing. And so I think I'm going to write more books. So I've got this kids book, and then I've got another 2 adult books. And I've written the first chapter of one of these adult books, and it's fucking cool. And it's just different. And it's really like exploring different themes and working with a bit of fiction. And I think I'm going to like write. And I'm running a TV show. I'm like, who the am I? I'm like this weird writer now. And the more I read, the better I get at writing. And I just feel like I'm on this really great journey of writing and reading. And my mum's a librarian, and she's stoked. You know what I mean? Mm. She's like the biggest book reader ever. And despite being a librarian, the woman owns too many books. Like, she owns a lot of books from you guys, actually. Because she likes them signed.
Well, we do have, I believe, depending on how quickly people get in and depending on when they're watching this, we may have a few signed copies left for order of Help Self as well.
Yes, and the signature's really nice. Look at that. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, they're all different colors, and some are signed Tanya because I was very tired when I was signing them. So some are not my actual name, but enjoy.
And it would make a wonderful Christmas gift.
Great Christmas gift, because, you know, giving the gift of self-help is a good gift to give.
Or is it a little passive aggressive? Help yourself.
For the love of God, read this book. And like you have like the chapters like that where they need the most assistance.
Yeah, little post-it.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, it would make a good present. That's probably why I bought 10 the other night, because I'm like, I'm just gonna give these away. That's the other thing, right, Matt? When people know you're an author, they're like, oh, can I just grab one of your books? And you're like, I have to pay for these. You jerk. I don't have heaps of money. I'm an author.
Well, I'm really excited to hear about all your upcoming writing projects, and I really hope that you'll come back and talk to us about each and every one of them.
My pleasure. I love you guys. I'm problematically on your website. I worry for myself and where the hell all my money's going to books. I bought all my kids' books from you guys.
Oh, really?
Like all the books I read for research, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm about to get some like reward from you for spending so much. Like you're about to get this reward. I'm like, thank God.
Well, we're very, very grateful.
Oh no, it's great. I think the more people who buy books, the happier the world will be. Storytelling's great, and it's, you know, reading is the antidote to anxiety in a way. Get outside, take your shoes off, read a book, you'll escape and you'll feel better about life.
Yep. That's wonderful. Well, Tanya Hennessy, thank you so much for joining us today. And you can order Help Self right now at booktopia.com.au.
And it's signed if you buy it there. Love you, bye.
Bye.